Guys, my name's Alicia and welcome to my channel. So today I'm coming to you with my April TBR. So these are all the books that I'm hoping to read in April, and let's get into it. Starting at the beginning of April is actually Ramadan, which is basically an Islamic thing that happens over the course of a month where Muslims fast, and that means no food and no water. And I basically decided to incorporate books that are featuring Muslim characters or by Muslim authors. So part of this TBR is basically going to be a little Ramadan TBR because I feel like Ramadan is a really exciting time, at least for me, and I always look forward to it. And reading books by Muslims and about Muslims is just a great way to get into the spirit of Ramadan. And then I also have some selections that are just other books. So first up, I have one of my most anticipated releases, and that is All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. And this is a book that has recently come out, and I'm just super excited to read it. I've heard so many great things, and I've heard that this book is emotional and like kind of takes you through a roller coaster of emotions and is just so amazing. And I love Sabaa Tahir and her work, so I'm very excited to read this. This is basically about a Pakistani family that I believe immigrates to America, and it is about, I believe, two timelines. So we're following the, I guess, either grandparents or parents in Pakistan and their situation and them moving to America, and then I believe also the children of those first people and their being second generation immigrants in America and their lives. So this is, I think, Sabaa Tahir's first YA contemporary book, and again, like, her Ember in the Ashes series is so great, and I just, as a Pakistani myself and as a Muslim, I love reading this kind of representation that is, you know, somebody speaking from their own experiences and sharing their story. So yeah, very excited about this one. Then I have a really cute book, and that is Salam with Love by Sarah Sharaf Beg. And this is a story that is just perfect for Ramadan because this book is following our main character during Ramadan. And yeah, I don't really know much about it, but I know that our main character is, again, celebrating Ramadan, and it's just, I'm hoping, a really cute and fun read. Then I have a bit of a controversial book, for me at least, because of this author. So this book is The Bad Muslim Discount by Syed M. Massoud. And basically I'm saying it's controversial because I have read a previous book by the same author, and I don't remember the name, but I'll put up a picture. And I didn't really like the book, and I didn't really like the Muslim representation in that book. I did, like, obviously the author is Muslim, and I definitely recognize that authors, when they're writing books, they're writing from their own experiences and their own situations. So obviously not every book written by, I guess, own voices is going to relate to every other person in that group. So I am hoping for maybe a little more care in his representation in this book, because I do think that this book's premise is really interesting, because basically this is also following a Pakistani immigrant family as well as an Iraqi immigrant family, as these two families basically leave their home countries and come to America. And I just think, again, as a Pakistani and as a Muslim, I do really like seeing stories where these experiences are relatable to me, but I am very interested to see if he decides to take a different approach in his representation and maybe tell a different story. I'm not going to go into too much detail about why I didn't like that other book, but I do think it was a very narrow and Western view on what Islam is and what Muslims experience. I don't think it represented Islam in the best light, but again, as the author is Muslim and is writing from his own experiences, I can't really fault him for that. But yeah, I do have higher hopes for this book. And then I have another book that I'm really excited for, and that is You Truly Assumed by Layla Sabrine. And first of all, I just love this cover. It is so gorgeous. But yeah, I haven't really heard a lot about this book, but I am anticipating it. I do think it is going to be great. This is basically following 3 Black Muslim Americans, and I believe they're dealing with, I'm not sure if it's 9/11 exactly, but basically a terrorist attack has happened, and so there's a lot of Islamophobia and anti-Muslim hate going around. And as these characters are also Black, they are dealing with a lot of discrimination. So I believe the story is following these 3 characters and their journeys and their stories. And yeah, I'm really excited about this, and I definitely think based on the premise and what I've heard about it so far, it is going to be great. And then lastly on my little Ramadan TBR is Saints and Misfits by S.K. Ali. So S.K. Ali has written one of my favorite stories about Muslims, and has one of my favorite stories that has Muslim representation, and that is Love from A to Z. And I think this book came out before that book, and I have heard a lot of great things about it. And again, I love this author, I love her writing, and all I really know about this is that it's following this main character who is, I believe, in high school, and she kind of groups people into 3 categories: saints, misfits, and monsters. So I believe this is a bit of a coming of age story, and there's also a bit of a romance, and I think there might be some kind of heavy topics because I believe there is a character, somebody at the main character's mosque who is not a great person. So I'm not sure, just based inside like what it says on the inside flap here, but there might be some triggering topics. But yeah, I love this author and I'm very excited to read this book. So then I have a romance book, and that is The Ark by Tori Henwood Hohen. And I think this is a new release. It recently came out, and based on the cover, for some reason I thought it was more of a thriller book, and sort of the premise, but I think it is just romance. But basically this is following Ursula, the main character, who is having a hard time finding love on dating apps and things like that, and so she decides to use this new matchmaking service called The Ark, and The Ark sets her up with this guy Raphael who she kind of has this like instant connection with, but obviously things happen, and I guess we'll find out if they are meant to be or not. So I think like recently there's been a lot of books and this idea of like the social media age, so there's been a lot of books with like matchmaking apps and things like that, and I like seeing all of the different takes on, I guess, like the new age of finding love, you know, within social media and within dating apps and things like that. So I am excited to see if this book takes maybe a different approach, or you know, what the situation is going to be like for these 2 characters, but I am excited to read this one. And then I have 2 thrillers, first being A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw. And this is a book that I've heard a lot of things about, but every time I hear like a review or somebody talking about this book, I just get a little confused, but because I feel like either the book, like you can't really delve into the synopsis without, I guess, giving away spoilers, or if it making a lot of sense. So I'm not really sure what this book is about, but I have heard a lot of good and bad things, so I'm interested in seeing what the book ends up being. But it says, Travis Wren has an unusual talent for locating missing people. Hired by families at a last resort, he requires only a single object to find the person who has vanished. When he takes on the case of Maggie St. James, a well-known author of dark, macabre children's books, he's led to a place many believe to be only a legend. Known as Pastoral, this reclusive community was founded by like-minded people searching for a simpler way of life. But soon after Travis stumbles upon it, he disappears, just like Maggie St. James. So I think this is like a cultish book. It's following, I guess, this main character who stumbles upon this cult and goes missing. So that seems really interesting, and I'm not sure if I really like books about cults. I haven't read a lot, but I feel like the ones I have read I haven't really enjoyed, but I have some hopes for this one, and it definitely seems interesting and intriguing, so I'm hoping for the best. And then lastly, I have The Club by Ellery Lloyd. So this is a book that I've heard some hype and buzz around, but I don't really know a lot about it. I believe it is a murder mystery, and it has to do with like celebrities because the murder mystery takes place at a celebrity club. But that's pretty much the extent of what I know about this book. But I think, yeah, it's a Reese's Book Club pick, so I feel like because of that, it will definitely get a lot of hype. So yeah, I'm hoping for the best with this one, and I am definitely excited to read this book. I do usually like books that deal with like fame and celebrity culture and that whole lifestyle, so I feel like I'll like this one, and I'm hoping for the best. And those are all the books I have on my April TBR. I'm hoping to get to all of these because I have not been great at sticking to my TBR, but we shall see. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you next time.